Alright, so on this video I'm going to walk you through the steps for reducing the depth on the base cabinet. Your regular base cabinets are 24 deep, and then we can reduce them in increments of 3 in your case, and also in my case for this cabinet we have to make it 18 inches deep. So I've unpacked the cabinet, separated all my pieces, and right here I have only the pieces that need to be reduced. So I've got both of the sides, I have the bottom of the cabinet, the 2 stretchers that go up at the top, and then also the drawer system. So out of the drawer system we have to reduce the sides and the back and the bottom. The front's the only piece that doesn't get adjusted in the drawer system case, so I'm going to set that all aside. We'll do that separately. So anyway, with these pieces, if this is for a 24-inch cabinet, I need to make an 18-inch cabinet. I'm going to basically just remove 6 inches from all 3 of these pieces here, and then we have some other things to do to them. So I'm going to set my saw real fast for 6 inches. And now I can cut on the floor of the cabinet. We have the profiled edge in the front, and then we have a square edge in the back. If all we do is cut off the back, we don't have to do anything with the front, so I'm going to cut off the back. For the cabinet sides, there's the dovetail section on the front, and then there's this half-inch rabbet in the back, and we obviously don't want to cut this off because then we'd also have to fix the toe kick, so we're going to take our 6 inches off the back. Now that's also going to involve redrilling the shelf peg holes. We'll get to that too. So I'm going to lay out my pieces and the angle that I need to cut them. Alright, so my bottom's all good to go. I still have a profile front. I don't need to scrap at all. I'll set this bottom aside for later. Now on the sides, both of the sides, there are 2 things we need to do to these sides. We need to recreate this rabbet that was on the original back of the side, and then we also have to redrill these shelf peg holes. So I'm keeping the pieces with each other. And the first thing I'll do is redrill the shelf peg holes. So the easiest way to do this is I'll take the cut-off part from the original back, or the original side, and I'm basically lining them up with the back, line them up both ends. And I just keep the clamps near the holes. The rest of it doesn't matter. They use 1/4-inch shelf pegs, so I just have a 1/4-inch bit, and I put this little stop collar on it, but you could use a big bundle of tape or whatever you need just to get it to the right depth. Alright, so new shelf peg holes, nice and crispy and clean, no problem. So now we need to route the back of this to redo that rabbet. This is the scrap I just drilled all the shelf peg holes through. I'm going to use this to set up my router to that depth. It's a 1/2 inch, this way and it's a 1/4 inch this way. If you don't have a router, you can do that on your table saw, just a bunch of passes to get that done. But I have this router right here with my my dado bit, and that happens to be all preset. It's a good bit of material to remove, so I'll usually do it in 2 passes instead of doing it in 1 pass and lowering the bit and doing it again for both pieces. I just have 2 bits that are the same, one set a little deeper than the other. Cool, so now we've got our new shelf peg holes, our new rabbet down the back of the side panel, and this one side is ready for assembly. So I'll just do that again on the other piece, but I won't waste your time with that right now. The next piece we need to do to assemble the rest of the cabinet body. Now that we've got the floor done, the frame and the back aren't modified at all, and then both the sides are these stretchers. You could just choose to not use the stretchers if you don't want to, since it's just one cabinet and we're building it in the house. But I'm going to cut these down. So I know I need to take 6 inches off of them. Now with these stretchers, the end, it's got a profiled end on it, so I just can't chop them and then leave them that way. I have to reprofile this end, and they are kind of end specific. So when I cut the pair, I have to cut them in a alternating direction, so that way I still have a left stretcher and a right stretcher with good fronts and backs on them. So I'm just going to measure 6 inches. I'm going to chop that real fast. Now I've got my my square edge and my profile edge, and I'm going to use this little profile edge as a template to figure out how far I need to set back this notch for the next piece. So now I have a line scored on there, and I just need to remove that much material. Instead of trying to route something that small with a different depth than the sides, I just cut it by hand. So I use a little handsaw. And I just eyeball it to about that same depth. And then I'll use a chisel to kind of scrape it out. So here's the piece I cut off, and then the new one. So, bam, it's pretty straightforward. You could use a utility knife to score it if you don't have a little saw. You know, just chew it down with with a chisel or whatever you have sitting around. It doesn't have to be pretty because that whole thing's going to be concealed when it goes in the groove in either the frame of the cabinet or in the back of the cabinet. So anyway, we'll just repeat that on the second stretcher, and then you have all the body parts done to now build that cabinet. I'll do the drawer body on the next video.